you ever felt like the universe was testing you? Like, really testing you? I have. It was October 17th, 2022, and I was 26 years old, living in a tiny coastal town in Oregon. My name's Riley, and back then, I thought I had life figured out. I had a beat-up Honda Civic, a part-time gig at a coffee shop, and a stubborn streak that'd make a mule jealous. That night taught me I didn't know a damn thing. It started with a text from my buddy Jake. "Storm's coming," he wrote. "Get out of there." I laughed it off. I'd seen storms before. Big whoop, right? The weather app said 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe some flooding. I figured I'd hunkered down with a beer and my dog Max in my little rental by the cliffs. But then the power flickered. Once, twice, then it was gone. The wind started howling like a banshee, and Max, my fearless mutt, was whining under the couch. That's when I heard it. A crack loud enough to shake my soul, followed by the unmistakable groan of a tree giving up its fight against gravity. I bolted to the window. In the dim glow of my phone, I saw it. A massive pine, roots and all, toppling across the only road out of my neighborhood. My stomach dropped. I wasn't just stuck, I was trapped. The rain came next, not in drops but in sheets, pounding the roof like it wanted in. Then my phone buzzed again. Jake. "Flood warning, rivers rising fast, get to high ground now." High ground? The nearest hill was 2 miles away, and my car wasn't making it past that tree. So there I was, standing in my kitchen, water seeping under the door, Max trembling at my feet, and a decision staring me in the face. Stay and pray or run and fight. I chose to run. I grabbed a backpack, threw in a flashlight, a water bottle, Max's leash, and I scooped him up. He's a 40-pound mutt, all legs and heart, and I wasn't leaving him behind. The second I stepped outside, the wind hit me like a linebacker. Rain stung my face and I could barely see 5 feet ahead, but I knew the river was close, too close, and I could hear it roaring over the storm. I started running, Max tucked under one arm, flashlight swinging wild in the other. The road was a mess, mud, branches, and water up to my shins. I slipped, fell, got back up. My shoes were soaked, my lungs burned, but I kept going. I could feel the river chasing me, like some hungry beast swelling over its banks. I didn't look back, I couldn't. All I could think was, "Keep moving, Riley, don't stop." About a mile in, I hit the base of the hill. The incline was steep, slick with mud, and my legs screamed at me to quit. Max squirmed, whining, but I held him tighter. Lightning cracked overhead, lighting up the world for a split second, and I saw it. The water. It was everywhere, swallowing houses, rushing through the streets I'd just left. My house was gone. I knew it, but I wasn't, not yet. I clawed my way up that hill, slipping, sliding, cursing every step. By the time I reached the top, I collapsed, Max tumbling out of my arms. We sat there, panting, under a scraggly oak, watching the world drown below us. The storm raged for hours, but we were safe. Wet, cold, and scared out of our minds, but safe. When the sun finally broke through at dawn, I looked at Max, his fur matted and eyes wide, and I laughed. A real crazy laugh. We'd made it. That night changed me. I learned you don't mess with nature and you don't mess with your own grit. I lost my house, my car, most of my stuff, but I kept my life, and Max's too. Sometimes I still hear that wind in my dreams and I wake up running. But then I remember I outran the storm. Okay, I'm gonna say it up front. I'm not proud of this. My name's Sam, and in the summer of 2019, I was 19, broke and desperate. I just flunked out of community college. My mom was barely scraping by, and I was sleeping on a couch in her tiny apartment in Phoenix. I told myself I'd figure it out, get a job, make things right. But life doesn't wait for your plans, does it? Sometimes it just kicks you in the teeth and dares you to get up. It was July 23rd, hotter than Satan's armpit, and Mom came, home from her shift at the diner with this look on her face, like she'd seen a ghost. "They're shutting off the power tomorrow," she said. "Can't pay the bill." I felt my chest tighten. She'd been working doubles, barely sleeping, and still we were drowning. The bill was $300. Might as well have been $1 million. I had $12 in my pocket and a resume that wouldn't impress a stray cat. I couldn't let her down. Not again. So, I made a choice, one I'd never thought I'd make. I decided to steal, not from a bank or some rich jerk's mansion. Nothing that glamorous. I picked the corner store 3 blocks down, the one with the flickering neon sign and the clerk who always looked half asleep. I'd been in there 100 times for sodas and chips. Now I was casing it like some low-rent criminal. The plan was simple. Wait till closing, sneak in, grab cash from the register and get out. No one gets hurt, no one even knows it's me. I spent the day hyping myself up, pacing the apartment, telling myself it was for Mom, not me. By 10 p.m., I was outside the store, hoodie up, heart slamming against my ribs. The clerk, this guy named Tony, was locking the front door. I ducked into the alley, found the back entrance, a flimsy thing with a busted lock I'd noticed weeks. Go, one shove, and I was in. The store was dark, just the hum of the fridge and the glow of an exit sign. I crept to the counter, my sneakers squeaking on the tile. The register was old school, no fancy tech, just a drawer with a key. I fumbled with a paperclip, hands shaking until it popped open. Inside was a wad of bills, 20s, 10s, $5. I stuffed them in my pocket, maybe $200 total, and turned to go. That's when I heard it, a cough from the back room. Tony, he hadn't left. He stepped out, rubbing his eyes, and froze when he saw me. "Sam," he said, voice cracking. I panicked. I bolted for the door, but he yelled, "Wait!" I didn't. I ran out the back, down the alley, through the streets, cash burning a hole in my pocket. I didn't stop till I was home, slamming the door behind me, gasping like I'd run a marathon. I didn't sleep that night. Guilt ate me alive. Tony knew me, knew my face, my name. I kept picturing him calling the cops, Mom finding out, everything crashing down. But the next morning I paid the power bill, cash. The lights stayed on. Mom hugged me, asked where I got the money. "Odd job," I lied. She smiled, and I hated myself more. A week later, I went back to the store. Couldn't avoid it forever. Tony was there, same tired eyes. He didn't call the cops, didn't even yell. He just looked at me and said, "Don't do it again, kid." That was it. No lecture, no threats, just mercy I didn't deserve. I never told Mom the truth, but I got a job. Dishwasher at a diner, $9 an hour. Slowest way to claw out of shame. But I did it. Stealing didn't fix me, it broke something instead. But Tony's quiet forgiveness, that's what put me back together. My name's Ellie, and I'm 32 now, but 3 years ago I was a ghost of myself. It was March 2022 and I was living in Chicago, working a soul-sucking office job, drowning in debt and pretending I was fine. I wasn't. I'd stopped eating right, stopped sleeping, stopped caring. My friends called it burnout. I called it falling apart. But on March 14th, a phone call, a random stupid phone call, pulled me back from the edge I didn't even know I was on. I'd been spiraling for months. My boyfriend had left me, my rent was late, and my boss kept piling on deadlines like I was a machine. I'd sit in my apartment, lights off, staring at the ceiling, wondering why I bothered getting up. That night I was done. Not in a dramatic way, just a quiet, heavy done. I didn't have a plan, but I didn't have hope either. I was sitting on my couch, scrolling my phone when it rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Wish I could. Say why I didn't. I answered. "Hello?" A guy's voice, panicked, blurted, "Is this Jen? Oh God, Jen, I need help." I froze. No, this is Ellie. Wrong number." He paused, then laughed, a shaky, nervous sound. "Sorry, crap, I dialed wrong. My sister's Jen. She's in trouble." I should have hung up, but something in his voice, raw, scared, kept, "Be there." "What's wrong?" I asked. His name was Mark. He was in Milwaukee, an hour away. His sister Jen had called him, slurring, saying she'd taken too many pills. He couldn't reach her now, and he was losing it. "I don't know what to do," he said. "I'm stuck here, no car. I don't know why, I still don't, but I said, give me her address. I'll go." Maybe I needed to feel useful. Maybe I just needed a reason to move. I grabbed my keys, drove to Jen's place, a rundown apartment 20 minutes from mine. The whole way Mark stayed on the line, rambling about Jen, how she'd been depressed, how he should have seen it. I got there, banged on her door, nothing. I called Mark back. "Break it down," he begged. So I did, shoulder first, like some action movie wannabe. The lock gave, and there she was, sprawled on the floor, pill bottle spilled beside her. I called 911, followed their instructions, checked her pulse, tilted her head back. She was breathing, barely. Paramedics showed up, took over, and I stood there, shaking, watching them save her. Mark kept thanking me through sobs on the phone. Jen lived. I found out later she'd overdosed on purpose, but pulled through after a week in the hospital. I drove home that night, numb. I didn't sleep, just sat there, replaying it. I'd been inches from that edge myself, hadn't I? Not pills, but that same dark hole. Mark's call wasn't meant for me, but it woke me up. I started therapy a week later, quit my job, Moved to a smaller place, started painting again, something I'd loved as a kid. It wasn't instant, but it was a start. Last year, Mark tracked me down, sent me a letter. Jen's doing better, sober, working again. He wrote, "You saved her and me." I keep that letter on my fridge. I don't know if I saved them, but I know they saved me. One wrong number, one split-second choice. That's all it took.